All right, hey everyone. Here is our project for our health unit. We're going to be using this project to assess how well you've learned through our health unit. Basically, we've been learning about the types of ways that our bodies maintain energy. We've talked about this, including the understanding of macromolecules and how our bodies break those molecules down into smaller parts to incorporate them into actually building us and giving us energy to function. With this information, you're going to be creating a health plan that you will be putting into place for 1 week and recording the observations you've made about your body regarding that health plan. So essentially, you're going to select something that is measurable. You can't just use something that's random. It has to be something you can actually measure. For example, you can measure heart rate, breath rate, how fast you have a response time, etc. And you're going to need to record your baseline of those measurements before you start any testing. So if your question deals with how your heart rate is affected, you have to record your heart rate beforehand so that you know just how much it was affected. Big deal here, you're not going to have anything that's going to endanger your health. If anything, you should get healthier. So I'm not going to let you eat 25 cheeseburgers and call that good. That's not going to be a part of your project. You need to see something that is going to positively affect your health. These are just examples. You do not need to write anything here. I just gave you some example questions. For example, like, how does blank affect memory? Maybe you say, how does a different food item affect my memory? How does blank affect my activity level? I know there's a bunch of athletes out there starting winter sports. Maybe you could see how different foods help you perform at practice. Again, you'll have to have some sort of a measurable rate, okay? I gave you some examples here. Again, these are just examples, not something you have to do. I just wanted you to see how questions could be set up. You need to come up with your own question. Throughout this assignment, you'll see the rubrics are posted in each section so that you're not having to flip back and forth, but you will see that at the very back, on the back of your handout there, is the complete rubric all put together. The way that I'm going to be assessing what you know is through how you set up your experiment. So that's a way to test for the scientific method and how well you understand the scientific method. This table shouldn't be anything new to you. We've practiced this several times before. You're going to come up with your own hypothesis, and then how I'm going to tell that you know about each standard is through the background information. So when you write your background information, that's how I'm going to know you know each standard. Now you don't have to write a big long paragraph right up here. You can insert images that you've drawn or created to be able to show me what you know. The rubric tells me exactly what I need you to know. So if you want a B, remember, you just have to do the established portion. So in this example, down here, you would draw diagrams of carbohydrates and proteins to show they're composed of similar elements. And you're going to also clarify the different functions of each macromolecule. Now, if you've been practicing your mind map, this should be no problem. If you're wanting to do accomplished, remember that you have to do both of these columns. Again, for accomplished, aka an A, you have to do both of these columns. And you'll draw that right down here. Or describe it if you'd rather describe it. Then you've got your cellular respiration standard. If you've been practicing your mind map doing this established column of identifying the inputs and outputs of cellular respiration and a diagram explaining the transfer of food energy, that should be no problem. This is a little bit tougher, but that's why it's in the accomplished column. Again, to get an A, you have to do both columns. You can draw that or insert it here. Hey, just as a hint, that should look familiar from one of the diagrams that we've done before in your mind map. The homeostasis standard, this is where you are going to be setting up your experiment to see how you can affect homeostasis in your body. Again, that's through heart rate, through breath rate, reaction time, concentration, whatever it is that you choose to ask the question of. Then part B, you're going to set up what materials you need to be able to do the investigation. You're going to set up your procedure step by step. We're going to work on this in class on Monday and Tuesday. We'll also work on these images here as well. So Monday and Tuesday in class, so that's going to be November 21st and 22nd. You're going to have that as work time. The only thing that you should have to work on over Thanksgiving is part C. The only thing. And that's because you're going to collect data. Now, over Thanksgiving break, you have a lot more flexibility. You have a lot more time to be able to do different things. For example, maybe you choose to say, I'm going to see how more sleep affects my concentration. In Thanksgiving break, you have the opportunity for more sleep. So you could say, I'm going to add 3 hours of sleep to my schedule each night, and I'm going to see how long I can concentrate on this game here. Or maybe you could say something along the lines of, how does eating a big, large turkey dinner affect my breathing rate? So before you eat the turkey dinner, you measure your breath rate. After you eat it, you measure it again. Then the next day when you have leftovers, you can try the same thing. Okay? That's why I gave you this over Thanksgiving, because I feel like you have a lot more flexibility and time to actually be able to measure these results. Again, this is the only part I want you to have to do over Thanksgiving. I don't want you to have a lot of work over break. You need a break. Take the break, but you do need to collect a little data. The Monday we come back from break, we will work on Part D together of analyzing your results. Then on Tuesday, November 29th, this will be due. You'll turn it in to me. Okay? So each of these will be broken up a little bit differently in the grade book, which we'll talk about on Monday. But your goal for now, just the expectation for the remainder of class and whatever, even if you're sitting at home watching this on the internet, on the website, I'd like you to start brainstorming. Up here, what is my question going to be? What is my research question? How can I measure that? Is it actually measurable? What are some things that I might encounter that could cause some problems with that? So, good luck, guys, and I can't wait to see you again and talk about all the questions that you have that you've come up with for testing homeostasis in your body.